if f of x equals x squared over 4 minus 3x, what is f of negative 1/2? Okay, so this is just another substitution problem. So we're just gonna, anywhere we see x in this function, we're just gonna plug in negative 1/2. So we're gonna have negative 1/2 squared over 4 minus 3 times negative 1/2. Okay, what's negative 1/2 times negative 1/2? That would be positive 1/4 over 4. What's negative 3 times negative 1/2? That would be positive 3/2, right? Okay, next thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and add these two. So 4 plus 3/2 would be what? Well, 4 over 1 is the same as 8 over 2. So 8 over 2 plus 3 over 2 gives you 11 over 2. And then I'm going to rewrite all this over here. So we have 1/4 over 11/2. But that looks really messy, right? You don't see that a lot. It's like a fraction in a fraction. Let's just write it a different way. And hopefully that it'll be a lot easier for you to comprehend and figure this out. It's much easier if you just rewrite this. Let me rewrite it like this. 1/4 divided by 11 over 2. Now that we understand, right? That is way easier for us to comprehend. So when you divide fractions, remember, keep, change, flip, KCF. Keep the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. Okay, now let's just simplify. Well, you can cross cancel these. 1, that's 2. We have 1 over 22. So f of negative 1/2 equals 1 over 22. All right, there we go. Oakland is located 8.36 miles from San Francisco. On a scale map of the Bay Area, this distance is represented as 5.73 inches. If, on the same map, the distance from Menlo Park to Berkeley is represented as 20.07 inches, what is the actual distance in miles between Menlo Park and Berkeley? So for this one, all we have to do is set up a ratio or a proportion. And the big thing to just keep in mind is you have to keep the units consistent. So on the left, see, I have the miles over the inches. And so on the right, I also have the miles over the inches. So now we're just going to cross multiply 5.73 x equals 8.36 times 20.07 would be 67.7852. Okay, that's messy. All right, and then we'll just divide both sides by 5.73. And we get x equals 29.28. And we were looking for the miles. And the more you do these proportions or ratios, you'll get in the habit of just multiplying these and then dividing by whatever that is. So you'll just do that all in one step. But I like to just show it all. And there you go. For which value of x is the expression undefined? Well, okay. This is one of my favorite questions. Why? Because it's what I named my channel. Divide by zero. We can't divide by zero. That's when an expression would be undefined. One of these days, we're going to figure out how to divide by zero. But that day is not today. So, all you have to do is any fraction you see, you set the denominator equal to 0 and solve. So we're just going to take this and just solve for x. Minus 3, minus 3. So you got 2x equals negative 3. Divide both sides by 2. And we get x cannot equal negative 3/2. Now, you might be saying, hey Jay, what are you doing, man? There's common factors here. You could cancel these out, these two factors. And then that would be gone. You'd be just left with x minus 3. And then x could totally equal negative 3/2. Well, do not get tricked when it comes to that. You have to first set the denominator equal to 0 before you cancel out like that. And that's all there is. 6 friends are playing a board game in which they each select one of 6 pieces. A rabbit, a clock, a dragon, a horse, a telephone, or a train. If Casey always picks the dragon, in how many different arrangements can the pieces be selected by the 6 friends? So, okay, they want to know how many different ways you can arrange these 6 choices. However, from the question, somebody always picks the dragon. So the dragon is always going to say the same person. So that's not a choice anymore. There's only 5. So we're going to use what's called a permutation. Okay? Now normally we would do 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. To give us how many different arrangements there could be with the game pieces. However, somebody always picks dragon. So that choice we're going to take away. We're left with 5. So 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. 60 times 2 is 120. And 120 times 1 is 120. There you go. There's 120 different possibilities of those kids picking different game pieces. But yeah, when you remember to do that, it makes that problem way easier than if you were to say write out each combination, much easier. Hey, you're gonna need a bigger calculator. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.